Print, email, Facebook, Twitter. More. I'm Aussie, man with disability to be deported to Canada after racking up criminal record. Colin Martin admits he is frightened because by the end of the month he will be on a plane to Canada, the home of his birth, but a place he knows little about. To be honest with you, I'm scared, because I don't know anything, the 26-year-old told the ABC over the phone from a detention facility. You know, it's another country. I've grown up in Australia. I'm Aussie. He came to Australia as a toddler when his Australian-born mother and Canadian father moved to Australia in 1994. I've grown up here, I've done all my school here, he said, but school was difficult and he was diagnosed with an intellectual disability when he was 14. Around the same time he started offending and taking drugs. Deported under bad character test. It has been almost a year since he was picked up by immigration officers at Dandenong Magistrates Court in Melbourne's East, and told he was an overstayer. He's also been deemed of bad character by the Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton because of a long history of criminal offending. I didn't know in doing these offences that I'd be thrown out of the country away from my friends and family, he told an appeal hearing of the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, AAT, last week. How can I be unlawful at 3 years old? He asked at senior member Andrea Nicolic, who was presiding over the matter. The AT heard Martin had committed more than 150 offences, mostly graffiti and other property offences, but also drugs and driving or traffic convictions. The most serious crime was taking part in an armed robbery of a Subway franchise in November 2011. He served 2 years in a youth centre. On Wednesday, the Administrative Appeals Tribunal slammed the door on any slim hope he had that he would be able to stay. He was advised that the AT was upholding a decision in February to refuse him a bridging visa based on the serious and repetitive nature of his offences over an approximately 8-year period. Mr. Nicolic set out his reasons in a 47-page report obtained by the ABC, in part because the risk of continuing to engage in substance abuse and committing further offences remain very real. The evidence supports a finding that if allowed to remain in Australia, Mr. Martin constitutes an unacceptable risk to the Australian community, Mr. Nicolic said. He concluded that Mr. Martin does not pass the character test. No human decency to get to this point has been a long, hard ride, according to Colin's father, Neil Martin. He's not the boy he was 12 months ago, he told the ABC. Mr. Martin said his son was depressed, he's deflated. At first he was put in the Maribyrnong Detention Centre, in Melbourne's northwest, where he alleged he was sexually assaulted by guards, something the Australian Border Force refutes. Mr. Martin's claims have been thoroughly investigated by the ABF and our service provider, and no evidence has been found to substantiate the claims, it said in a statement. Neil Martin said the department had failed to treat his son with common courtesy or human decency. Since June 2017, Colin Martin has been flown back and forth between Maribyrnong and the Yonge Hill Detention Centre, near Perth, 6 times. System designed to mentally break you. It's a common experience for the 501ers, as they're known inside the detention centres, named for those affected by Section 501 of the Migration Act, which refers to bad character. Brisbane immigration agent Richard Timpson said it's a regular occurrence that frustrates him and other immigration lawyers who are trying to manage cases with clients in another part of the country. He said pressure can sometimes be exerted on detainees to sign in those circumstances, because sometimes it's easier to leave and protest the matter offshore. Department of Home Affairs statistics show the number of visas cancelled on bad character grounds has more than doubled from 2014-15 to 2016-17, and increased 15-fold since 2013-14. Minister Dutton keeps on saying he wants to rid the great country of Australia of violent criminals. That my son is not, and nor has he ever been, Neil Martin said. Colin Martin said he was pressured up to 20 times to sign a voluntary removal form which would expedite his deportation. Even before the AT's final ruling, Colin Martin broke down and signed 3 weeks ago. This whole system is designed to mentally break you, so you sign to go back. That's why they fly you away from your family, he said. Mr. Martin has been told he will be deported on May 29. Print, email, Facebook, Twitter. More.